Hello and welcome to the Honest Football Podcast Midweek Rant, and this time we're talking about non-attenders at football games.
Right. And more specifically, we're talking about people who buy a ticket or a season ticket and then don't turn up and leave empty seats in the stadium,
which is a
when
shame.
there are other people who are itching to enjoy such a great occasion.
Yeah, now you're doing this off of the back of me not showing up to an FA Cup match.
Well, that's it. This is it's quite topical, isn't it?
But I didn't take the ticket of someone else. There was other spaces that people could have gone. Not in the same way that... It's not like the game was sold out. No way.
What, 3,147?
I can't imagine their capacity is as specific as 3,147. There must have been a few tickets that... Anyway, the point being, this is born out of the fact that I didn't turn up for one.
I haven't even started yet and he's trying to defend himself. So we know he's done wrong, don't we? And he doesn't agree with it deep down. So it's quite topical.
I was at a christening.
Okay, whatever. You were playing Master League, whatever. As we're recording this, last Sunday, myself and Craig went to an FA Cup tie, which Charlie suggested we buy tickets for.
Yes,
right.
There was two options. There was either watching Harrogate Borough beat AFC London
which was
on the Friday night.
You two would have been.
But we would have gone.
I could have gone, but you know what I did? I said, don't get me a ticket because I can't go.
And then, obviously, from where we live,
but at the time, I thought I could go.
So,
anyway,
so what we're either blaming is people who buy a ticket and don't turn up to the game, or people who can't be organised enough to be asked to check if they're actually available for a game they're buying a ticket
I think what's annoying is the fact that we've agreed on this sort of day, and then we waited a few days to actually, I'll go and buy a ticket this day.
Yeah.
And I went, is it okay to buy a ticket now? Everyone goes, yeah. So I bought the tickets, and I go, oh, by the way,
hang on a minute. There was at least a week before that.
What do you mean?
That was at least a week before.
But the fact that when did you get invited to that christening? This is something that's like...
No, I got invited.
Judge Judy.
I thought the christening was this Sunday coming.
We convened. We convened in one podcast, and then the following podcast we agreed to buy tickets, which are almost a week apart.
Okay, but I understand that I've done that, but what's wrong with that?
Okay, so what I want to do is go back to your original point. I wanted to... We'll do another one of my rants. It's about time after the first 6 or 7 of the series, we just used to having arguments every week. What I'd like to talk about is more generally about tickets. And I know I've taken the piss out of you for 5 minutes, but that's not the point. Not 5 minutes yet, but it will be, trust me.
In the previous podcast.
One of the problems we have, and you see it at Premier League grounds, particularly big teams playing against the so-called smaller teams in the league, where you see 5,000-10,000 season ticket holders who have a ticket and haven't shown up.
Yeah.
And it's got to the stage now where clubs are offering a ticket exchange programme because they know that the people who are committing to buy season tickets aren't actually committing to turn up to all of the games.
What I will say about that ticket exchange, though, that is a huge fucking con. So I had a season ticket at West Ham, and you can sell your tickets on there. Yeah. But the club take a 30% cut.
That's better than Luton.
No, but still the point being is like, really, okay, I can't go, so I am getting some money, but... We talk about ticket touts and we want to get rid of them because but I would get more money just selling it to Joe Gross than what I would go.
Agreed, but is the club's argument you've bought a season ticket, you've bought a season ticket knowing there are 19 home games in the season, and if you then decide you can't be bothered or you aren't able to turn up to something, you have to suffer for that.
Yeah,
but they're still offering you an incentive. So at Luton you get a £5 back or whatever when they're paying the equivalent of £18 a game or whatever. It's not a huge amount, but.
Why should they get that £5 back or that in 30% back?
Who, the club?
Yeah, because I paid for my seat.
You paid what? Let's say £800 for example.
Yeah.
For a seat at the ground. Why at the game? So why? I do agree on this element. Why is the club getting more money?
Yeah.
Because you can't make it to that game.
They're not getting more money.
Yeah, they're getting.
They're giving you some of your money back for a seat that you've already paid
for. But they're getting some of the money back as well, aren't they?
Well, rightly so, because you paid for the ticket and committed
to it.
But
technically that's my property.
More then.
Like that seat, that was my seat when I was at West Ham. So I paid £450 for the ticket. Break down whatever that is per game. Okay. Right. So I sell that back to the club.
Oh no, a bit more because you've only got 19 games.
But I sell it back to the club. You know. And say there was one game. I mean, to be fair, I didn't. I think I missed the first home game because I was on holiday. And in fairness, the bloke I sat with, he took his friend, so I didn't go through the club, and that was fine. But if I wanted to sell it back to the club, I'm going to effectively lose money because although I'm getting a bit of that money back, I've already paid for that in my £450.
Well,
what do they deserve? Why do they deserve to get that?
Well, we're getting a little off topic here. We can have an argument about the money of it eventually.
Yeah.
My main point is that I get very frustrated when I look at, say, I don't want to pick teams out individually, but if we look at, say, the Emirates and things like that.
Fuck it, Arsenal. Because they go on about saying, oh, we sold 60,000 seats, and there's clearly red seats.
No, I've got to say,
and the same thing at the Etihad as well.
I saw that at West Ham countless times. It'd be, genuinely, the ground laughed. It would be, today's attendance is 52,000 people, and I swear, a third of the ground was empty.
Yeah. And it happened a lot when Arsenal were on that Europa League run in Wenger's last season, and there were literally 40,000 fans at the game. And you could basically see the cannon across the seats. And they go, oh, the attendance, 59,000. Yeah. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And that's where I start to get very frustrated with this and don't see how it's defensible. Because if you guys take aside one-off game, like you say, where I'm on holiday or whatever, and moaning about the cost of it, if there are 60,000 people who have committed to buying a ticket, or let's say 50,000 that have committed to a season ticket, if 20,000 of those don't turn up, that's incredibly wrong. Do not buy that ticket if you are not going to attend. As soon as, in most instances, like it was at West Ham, like it was at Arsenal, things don't quite go to plan on the pitch.
Yeah. Do you know
you're committing to support your club through thick and thin.
Yeah.
Don't tell us at West Ham you know what struggle is.
No.
We've been at Luton, we have 3 points deductions, 3 relegation in a row. You still get 7,000-8,000 in the non-league.
No, what I would say, I know we're not a Premier League podcast, but just to touch on that, the elitism of the Premier League is that actually there were some people where I sat who couldn't, there were companies that couldn't afford a box because it's a Premier League ground. They cost you need to remortgage the whole your house or whatever. But they would get a row of seats or 4 or 5 seats as a client thing, and would turn up 1 in 3 or 4 to take clients to
the big games to show off.
Yeah, basically, But they would still obviously have the seats. But like you say, and that leads to the empty seats. And I'm not saying that happens at Luton Town, obviously. But in the bigger clubs, I think so many of those seats are, believe it or not, corporate in a weird sense of a way, that these clubs own these seats and will go to 1 in 4 because that's when they're business associate and Rever's over.
And I know it leads on to something that you've had quite a bit of a problem with this season, which is I follow in the EFL. Because again, you've got fans who go, oh, it's raining really heavily, I can't be asked to go, and then pay another £10.
Yeah, exactly,
They get their £10 back from the ticket exchange programme and spend it on watching the live stream
at home. That's true.
So they don't have to sit in the rain.
I mean, to be honest, me and a couple of friends at work were due to go to Ibrox, obviously Rangers, and it says on the website that the tickets are sold out. I mean, luckily they've got season tickets and friends, but if we wanted to get an extra one for someone else who was thinking of coming along but didn't, similar to me, was thinking of coming along but didn't.
Don't defend yourself.
No. But I can
no.
guarantee you, it says on the website sold out, and it will say sold out till the game. I can guarantee you that game will not be sold out. Like, as in
there'll be empty seats.
Yeah, there'll be empty seats, and it's that problem. And that's the problem I have, is that there are, I mean, I wouldn't class me a fan, but there's people who want to attend the game and can't because someone has taken a seat and then can't be bothered to...
So what I'm really glad about, and just to round this completely off, is that you started defending yourself about the Hitchintown Solihull Moors, and you finished this by saying it's really rude to take a seat when someone else could have wanted it. Or in that case, a terrace. People were willing to stand a terrace.
See, that's the difference. Lower league, non-league football, if it's a terrace, I don't see as much of an issue with that, because
it's still at 1% of the capacity. It's 1 person in the capacity of a stadium, which is often far smaller. And for a game like that, most residents of Hitchin will never get the likes of that again. Not only did you not go to the game, you haven't even been to the fucking town.
I did not take the place of one. I took the place of one person. I did not. There was other people who could have come who didn't.
Well, we started and ended on a very personal attack, which I apologise for, but it was very much justified, and it doesn't change the fact that generally I have a huge problem with tickets being sold and then people not turning up and leaving an empty stadium on a TV.
I get that for seated stadiums. No, I don't agree with the terrace point.
Yeah, I agree if it's...
Well, you would say
I agree if that's Premier League, but I totally disagree if it's non-league, because there wouldn't be any season tickets as much to go corporate.
But for one-off big FA Cup ties like that...
Oh, yeah. FA Cup ties is totally different.
It's disgraceful, isn't it, if you buy a ticket...
Is that what... I mean, is it different if you buy a season ticket and don't turn up? Because then that's a whole...
It depends on... Like, as you just say, FA Cup, it depends on... If the non-league or the lower league side were at home,
yes,
rather than the Premier League side
at home. Which they were in this instance.
Because if there's a Premier League side at home in the FA Cup, depending on who you get, it's not going to fill out. It's not going to sell out.
No, absolutely.
Unless it's a really big tie.
But when it's a magical tie, like that.
Oh yeah, when it's a lower league side against the biggest.
Would you not argue it's worse? If you commit to a season and then 6 months later something comes up, or you book your holiday and it comes to track. If you buy a general admission ticket a week and a half before, and then a few days later go, oh, you know what, lads, I'm not fancying it. I want to play some Master League.
Don't worry.
Do you know what? If I genuinely
don't worry, he done it for the community.
No, I genuinely thought. Sorry, I genuinely mean this. If I'd have thought that I was taking the seat and it was a sellout, I honestly would have sold it. I'd have gone on Twitter or something. I'd have sold it to someone else. But the reason I didn't sell it to someone else was it wasn't a sellout. I wasn't taking.
I think you'll find it's because until the day before, for all the talk you give, until the day before, you're going, oh, I'll try and get. I might make it, lads. I might make it. That typical like West Ham. Oh, I might make it, lads. I might make it. And then Sunday morning, no, lads.
Obviously, where we were standing, I don't think you can fit many more people in that ground.
No,
anyway.
I would argue.
Stand there. Don't even go there.
I would argue, looking around, that ground was very close to capacity. Would you not?
It was very.
No,
it was brims.
There was still space, which means that people could.
There was space for one more seat, and or one more stander, and that was the person who bought a ticket into. And that could have gone to a fantastic community supporting Hitchin.
If I honestly believed that was going to sell out properly, I'd have sold it on Twitter.
Charlie Betts is a disgrace to football.
So someone from Hitchin around the area could actually bought that ticket.
They could have anyway, because there was space for them to go. It wasn't a sellout.
Well, tough.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for 2 new episodes every week on the Honest Football Podcast.